For almost 5 years now, I've worked in retail. This past weekend, I encountered the rudest, most disrespectful, most entitled Karen I have had the misfortune of dealing with. For context, I work in the meat department and I was filling the chicken section. This was not even 10 minutes into my shift. She comes up to me and asks if we have chicken feet. I say yes, but it's on the bottom of my cart. And there were 15, maybe 20 boxes on top of them. She was the third person that day to ask me for chicken feet. The first two people simply said, "Oh, okay, I'll come back." No issue there. They were very polite about it. Her response to this was, "So I have to wait?" To which I responded, probably ruder than I should have, but it was a dumb question, and I was sort of taken aback by that. I just said, "Yeah," and kept working with whatever I was filling up at the time. My coworker came over there around that point to let me know that he and I were the only two people on the schedule and that he would have to work produce today. Uh, and as he is trying to tell me this, the customer in question, the Karen in question rather, is beginning to complain and try to belittle and insult how I'm stocking, that I'm stocking too slowly. Now, the reason I'm stocking slowly is one, she is in my way. Two, there are about 15 other customers in the way. And three, I'm stocking packs of chicken wings, which are not even. And if you try to just simply throw 3 or 4 packs out at a time, they will just slide right out and into the floor. So you have to stock it slowly and make sure that they're going to stay. And she then begins, she's just complaining the whole time, talking about how when she worked in this area and worked at this place and that place, this is how she worked, and oh, how the times have changed. And I'm getting annoyed. My coworker is just in shock at her childishness, and I begin to just give back very sarcastic comments like, "Oh, wow, you should get a gold star. Would you like a cookie?" Things of that nature. She then says something about helping, to which we both reply, "Ma'am, we cannot allow you to help. You're not an employee. You know, if you break something or are dumb enough to get hurt, we're the ones that get in trouble for that. So, no, you cannot help." She then, again, she is acting like a child. And she then decides to sit down in the meat bunker, in the chicken bunker, right in front of where I am trying to stock. And she did this on purpose. I know that. My coworker could very clearly see she was doing this on purpose in a very petty, very childish attempt to try and force me to, I guess, get her chicken feet faster. I don't know what her thought process was, because it did not speed me up. It had the opposite effect. It slowed me down. It was hindering me from doing my job. It was preventing me from doing my job. After a few moments of this, and again, the entire time she is just being incredibly rude and disrespectful and childish, I got annoyed. So I took my cart of chicken and I rolled it to the back. Because if I cannot work on the chicken, there are several other sections of meats that I can go work on. She then goes full Karen mode. She runs over to the door of the meat department and is ringing a bell that has not been hooked up in years. She is just furiously pressing this button to try and ring the bell, demanding to speak to whoever's in charge of the meat department, which, as I informed her, is me, because I am the only one on the schedule. She then starts trying to essentially blame me for choosing the wrong job. And I was much nicer than I should have been to this lady, much more polite than I should have been, but I was very quickly losing my patience. In nearly 5 years, I have not been this annoyed by anyone, manager, customer, coworker, anything. Eventually, she did get her chicken feet. It took a while after, you know, straight up being called out on being disrespectful, because I told her to her face she was being rude and disrespectful, and I know she was doing it on purpose. She did apologize profusely. And after getting her chicken feet, this is the creepiest part to me. She says to me that I have pretty hair and asks if she can touch it. After, I don't know, 30 minutes of just being a childish prick, wants to, says my hair is pretty and wants to touch it? No. Again, I was much politer than I should have been. I should have said something far more rude. I simply said, I'd rather you not. I spoke to the manager who was on duty that day. She did not come in until maybe 30 minutes after this confrontation. And again, I said I was much politer than I should have been. The manager that I spoke to basically said that if she had been there when this interaction happened, that customer would have been asked to leave the store in the politest way possible. And I know that's true because, again, the management there, for the most part, they know me and they know how I work and they know that I'm a good worker. And if it comes between, this lady's $10 on chicken feet or me working an entire shift, somebody's going home without chicken feet. That's the very brief summation of the story. Uh, I wanted to say something else a little further in that just because someone works in retail, just because someone works in customer service, that doesn't give you the right to treat them like crap. It doesn't matter if they're wearing a Walmart vest or a Target shirt or a McDonald's hat. That does not give you the right to treat people like garbage. I don't care what you've been through. I don't care what you did in your life. I don't care what your family did. I don't care how many of your family members served in the military, or if you served in the military, or if you're a doctor or a surgeon. If you're the Queen of England, it doesn't matter. You do not have the right to be a complete and utter jerk to people because you didn't get what you wanted fast enough. You're not special. You are no different than every other customer that was in that store that day. Again, this is the third person to ask me about chicken feet. And everyone else was polite about it. They understood that, oh, it's on the bottom of the cart. I'll come back around. It's not that important. This grown woman with a grown child threw a temper tantrum. And I'm really cutting it down because this lady was far ruder than my story is making it seem. Um, I'm not sure how to end this. Just don't be a dick to people.